International ở Houston. Ở Houston nha anh chị, mình chuẩn bị cái buổi lễ Memorial Day. Đây, Giang tỉ cho anh chị mình xem xung quanh. Cho anh chị mình xem xung quanh nha. Dạ, con đang quay, đang like. How are you? How are you?
I'm good,
Yeah,
thank you.
every year I come and I see you here.
Well,
Yeah.
at least I'm still alive.
So, Đây, những cái bông mà mình sẽ chút nữa dâng lên. Đây hơi gió. Đây là những lá cờ hôm nay. Hello. Yes. I tried to call you a lot, but nobody answer.
Really?
Yeah.
Which number?
The number on the yeah, the car.
Well, let me give you my
That's
cell
fine.
number.
Yeah. That's why every year I want to call first, you know. It's early. That's why I'm not sure, yeah.
They did such a wonderful job at the VFW. Oh my gosh. Well, you just look at their dresses and you're already smiling, you know.
Thank
There
you.
go.
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks for coming. I love the scarf.
Thank you.
And then they brought these like the big stars and drapes. Guys who served.
Thank you. Okay. Yes. Houston, yes. Chuẩn bị buổi lễ. Đây, tất cả những camera, đài, truyền hình ở Houston đã có mặt ở đây đầy đủ. Những người tham dự thì vô đây ngồi sẵn. Đây.
Bắt đầu ở đây mình đi lên.
Xích vô đây nè cho nó mát chút đi. Đông lắm, người ta ở trong rất là đông. Chỉ bên Hùng Việt mà đâu phải bên anh Thư tụi em đâu. Ai?
Chú Minh ha.
Chú Minh nào?
Chụp hình nhé. Tức là bắt đầu từ phía này đi lên nè.
Đúng rồi, từ dưới đó đi lên.
Bây giờ mình phải đi ra ngoài này rồi.
Dạ đúng rồi. Đúng rồi. Mình tới nơi, mình tới ngay trên á. Ấy lại xích gần lại nói nghe. Chị Quế. vào được thì cầm cái này thì chắc
Nếu mà lên trên đó mà giăng tỉ thấy không có gió đó.
anh để ra một tay anh cầm hết trơn, cái tay phải anh buông ra, cái tay này hai anh để lên đây rồi tay em kêu chào là 4 người cùng chào, cái là mình bắt đầu mình quay mình đi, là họ sẽ đọc, họ đọc xong rồi á mình mới làm nha, đọc cái group của mình xong rồi á mình mới tới trên đó. Hả? Con đang quay.
Mình đi vậy này là mình không có được thêm cái gì hết, cái chai trên tay gì hết, mấy lần rồi. Cái tóc nữa nè, không lo được nữa. Bây giờ tôi đi mua mình đóng cái kem giờ có kẹo không hả? Thì tóc tay, chiều chảy chết. Cứ sorry hoài mà không làm. Đây mà đụng mà đầu lên là phải kỷ luật đó, không có nói cái gì hết đó. Đầu em đầy kẹp xước hết đó. Ok, sorry. Rồi có sự không nào lấy ra buộc lại, nó xài cái đuôi trời. Hồi nãy oanh ra nó cột rồi đó nha. Phải cho còn hai bốn ở ngoài nè, còn ngoài sau đó.
Dạ, thì đó mỗi năm em lên mọi người đều biết mấy người này hết á.
Hả?
Em nghĩ em đeo nhưng mà em chị sẽ đi cắt ra một chút nha, để cho hai ảnh đi lên cái mình đừng có đi gần quá, để cho thấy áo của mình thôi, đúng không? Chứ thôi đi ra ngoài em sợ nó không có đủ á, cái đường á, cách ra chừng một cái tay vậy nè. Đó, chút cái mình cắt ra tí thôi.
Vô cái bên đời.
Sure. Excuse me, sir. Can you send me that picture? Can you send for me that picture?
Yes. Well, let's see. Can I send it off of your phone? Sure. Okay. Let's see. How do
I got a hat just like that. I got one too. I was with the 17th cap. I went to Buffalo.
Okay.
You talk about a man got a stroke.
There you go.
And order picture too.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
I did their rescue. We came down to the lot. We flew out there one time. Saved the dog.
Okay. Oh, the paper. Bắt đầu người ta tới đông rồi anh chị, đúng 9 giờ sẽ bắt đầu đi. Chị đứng bên đó đi, tại em đeo cái bóp này, em muốn che lại. Đi vô cùng đó đâu có đeo cái gì được. Nếu mà trang nghiêm nhưng mà tại vì con đang quay. Sure, sure. Can you tell her? You want take the picture? You can ask her. Later. I'm busy for the video.
Oh,
My video, yes. Yeah.
Yes, Vietnam, 1970.
That time we were
Yeah.
big fight.
Was in Buda
Oh, Buddha.
and Chi Lang.
A lot of community. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Em kêu nhờ cái cô đó, có bấm qua thôi, nó dễ.
Phần đông ở đây toàn là lính Việt Nam nhiều. Chứ chị nhị thì nhất Thế Chiến là người ta đụng hết rồi.
Thì đó.
Phần đông này.
Mấy người tệ. Nói gì? Không.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for that wonderful choir from the Houston Thailanders led by Mr. David Kane, a U.S. Navy veteran. Let's give them a hand.
Bước qua.
Hopefully you weren't too shocked by the piano going on.
What's that music? I was away. I got my foot so hard away. Just stay on my side. You got to put in your arm. Straight out that way.
At this time,
Everybody. We're going to keep going to the right. I'm letting you know now.
Senior U.S. Army retired, U.S. Air Force retired. Officer of the Day, post.
Yeah, I'm a former commander, see. I'm in the archives. I'm retired. Right, Homeland Security. 23 years, no wars to fight.
Joint Service Color Guard. If you can hear me, somebody wave a hand. All right, thanks.
They're going to command the king right there. We're going to the right.
Please rise for the presentation and posting of the colors by our joint service color guard.
Yeah.
Hold it tight. They just gonna blow. We got to put it like Say, unless you want to trade, because I'm taller than you, you carry take this one and I be high.
Mới là number 9 before and Mỹ ơi, em tụt xuống đi cho number 9 đứng dưới đây. Number 9 before.
This is 8, and
Rồi,
then
tụt
we're
xuống
9.
nữa.
What's your number?
Hey.
Eight. I'm 10. You go.
Đỡ tụt lui cũng lên number 9. Tụt lui nữa quý vị, còn một lúc nữa.
Lùi lại một chút.
Tụt lui nữa.
Rồi đây. Nine over here.
You go the room before the you go to the yeah.
Are you gonna be?
Yeah, before.
Oh, okay.
Không, tụi em đeo về cũng được rồi, bởi vậy. Chị muốn cầm hai cái tờ Việt Mỹ không? Cầm chị đi, chị cầm cái gì? Thôi khỏi đi. Được rồi, tại vì cái này là mình có rồi nè.
Again, welcome you to the National Cemetery Memorial Day ceremony. This cemetery was dedicated in December of '65 on what was once a dairy farm. At the time of construction, at 419 acres, one of the largest, only slightly smaller than the Arlington National Cemetery. Today we get a chance to meet the director of the cemetery, Mr. Roy Luna, United States Air Force, retired from Alton, Texas.
Buenos días. Bienvenidos al Cementerio Nacional de Houston. Good morning. On behalf of the Undersecretary for Memorial Affairs, Matt Quinn, and the men and women of your Houston National Cemetery, I would like to welcome all of you. First, I would like to thank all the volunteers that assisted with the many tasks that you completed in preparation for this solemn event. Without your help, we would be hard pressed to complete all the necessary tasks that make the Houston National Cemetery the crown jewel of the Midwest. I would also like to thank the employees of the Houston National Cemetery for all your hard work and patience as you work weekends and evenings to ensure that your cemetery continues to be one of the premier cemeteries in the nation.
Trên.
I would also like to talk about the Veterans Legacy Memorial, Victor Lima Mike program. Each veteran that is interred in the National Cemetery, whether it be Houston National Cemetery or the Fort Custer National Cemetery in Battle Creek, Michigan, will have a digital page that is dedicated to that veteran. It is as easy as typing Veteran Legacy Memorial for the letters VLN, which is search engine that will bring up the digital page. It is so easy that a director can do it. The construction and repairs that you see are part of the 3-year project that includes the construction of column drains, preset crypts, and other features that will meet the burial needs and desires for veterans and their eligible family members. As you can see, we have been very busy since our last public Memorial Day ceremony in 2019. It is wonderful to have all you back, and we are very proud that you have chosen your Houston National Cemetery to honor and remember the service members in our return while serving our grateful nation. Now I would like to introduce the master of the ceremony for today's Memorial Day events. Colonel E.A. Buddy Grantham is in his 40th year of serving his state and nation in uniform. He is a native Estonian at Texas A&M grad, where he commissioned through the Corps of Cadets. He joined the Texas Army United National Guard in 1979 and continued in the active Army, retiring in 2005. In 2007, he joined the Texas State Guard, providing humanitarian mission support and disaster recovery services for the citizens of Texas. A lifelong volunteer, civic leader, strong advocate for the military, veterans and their families. He's happily married to Julia, his wife, for 41 years. They have 3 wonderful children, to include a serving Army officer with a tour in Afghanistan, 8 energized grandchildren, and 2 rescue dogs. Ladies and gentlemen, Colonel Buddy Grantham.
You don't always see some things on the surface. But Roy, after a career of taking care of his soldiers, he has spent his time here within the system, taking care of veterans at a natural progression. One more time for Roy.
Minh ơi, chạy xuống đây, đúng 9 giờ bắt đầu.
At this time, we will have the national anthem sung by Mr. Steve Driver of Klein United Methodist Church.
Tụi em đứng trong hàng ngũ, trong hàng số 10. You see
by the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, was broad stripes
And now if you would join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States. I pledge allegiance to the United States, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Before we move along, I would like to introduce some folks that we need to say hello to and recognize. First of all is the Gold Star mothers and their families. If you would, please rise. Thank you for your service above and beyond. Also, the Blue Star mothers and their families, would you also please rise? And again, those use of Thailanders were pretty exceptional. So, up here on the dais we have, and if you would please hold your applause until the end, Mr. Philip Blackman, our guest speaker, Mr. Steve Driver, the National Anthem vocalist. You gentlemen please rise and play. Mr. Josh Glenn, vocalist also.
Correct. The opposite way of whatever way they try.
Chaplain Ann Luna, who I will call up in a moment.
No, he's gonna be.
Mayor
He's supposed to be like
Sylvester
two behind you, so there's supposed to be another group here.
En route is the Honorable Sheila Jackson Lee. We also
You
have
guys are number
Ted
12,
Cruz,
so they ask you.
from his office,
that's your
Mr.
road.
Jason Fuller. And from Congressman Crenshaw's office, Mr. John McCarthy. Cash Grimes, the Executive Director for NCA Continental District. Mr. Brian and Mrs. Babby Bush. Major General Retired Robert Worley, Director of the Veterans Regional Office.
In the middle of the Boy Scouts?
Mrs. Taylor Westry,
There's the Boy Scouts, and then we have
of course, Mr. Roy Luna, who just recognized the director. Notice he's in the back, he's keeping us all as best he can. Ms. Cecilia Reed, Assistant Director for the National Secretary. And Ian Gonzalez, Assistant Director for the Secretary. All right, let's see what's the call.
Yep, because they're the number 12 for the homeless. Can you hold this? I need to give you this. Yep, right there in front of these guys. There you go.
Our chaplain today is an Air Force veteran. She spent 26 years serving all 4 components of the United States Air Force. Oklahoma Air National Guard, and also as an individual.
They're carrying your flag.
We are blessed to have someone of her background shepherding the flock
Them in the
at
middle.
our VA
You guys are
hospital.
going to flank their sides, okay? So you have Ernesto. So this is what I mean. You're going to flank her side. Protect her on that side.
Good morning. Will you please bow your heads with me?
Okay? You go there, speak.
As our nation calls us today to remember those in the military who have given their lives for freedoms we enjoy, we pray that you would have us all look to you for strength, comfort, and guidance. Be with all who serve in our armed forces. Bless them and their families. Grant your loving protection. Let peace prevail among all the nations, O God. Especially let your mercy rest upon our land, even as we acknowledge with thanksgiving your past goodness on this country. If it is your will, preserve the lives of the men and women in uniform as they defend our country. Most of all, we pray that you would turn the hearts of all, military and civilian, to your holy word, where we find true peace for our souls. Move us to know, take hold, and treasure your love and your grace. In this peace and hope for eternity, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I really like the crown everybody.
Thank you very much, Chip.
I know.
This hemisphere
That's
we
what we
stand in is one of only 3 that are in national cemeteries. And one in Arlington and one in the Philippines. But yet this one that we're in today is the only one that is actually operated by the VA staff. So again, you can see why Mr. Luna is doing such a great job. At this time, we will have God Bless the USA, sung by Mr. Josh Flynn.
If tomorrow the things were gone, I'd work for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. I thank the Lord above to be living here today, because the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I'll gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. Because there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston, from New York to LA. But there is pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I'm glad to stand up next to you and defend her still today. Because there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. Yes, I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. Because there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Officer of the day, please conduct the parade of remembrance. American Heritage Funeral Home.
Veterans of America, assisted by Boy Scout Troop, number 1659. San Jacinto, Texas, daughter of American Revolution. American Legion Post 77.
đi anh chút nữa ra.
American Legion Post 416.
Thẳng hai cái banner phải thẳng, hai anh thẳng cái banner, anh xích ra cái banner lúc nào cũng thẳng nha, đó nhìn thấy không, họ đi thấy chưa. Đó nhìn thấy không, họ đi không.
American Legion Post 596. National Charity League Kings Trail.
Thẳng, hai anh lớn thẳng. Đó nhìn họ đi kìa. Anh Thư.
R2 volunteers required.
Đi. Hậu vệ.
I'll do RBM descendants.
Đi lên, đi thẳng. Chút nữa là mình đi giống như là bên tay phải nha, bên kia là tay trái thì mình đi tay phải. Tới ngay cái ông đứng á, mình mới hai anh mới chuẩn bị cho chào.
Marine Corps Lead Sergeant Mario Gonzalez, Captain,
Đúng rồi.
number 1485.
Trái phải, 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 phải. Thank you sir. Phải, đi qua bên đây, không phải. Phải, rồi đi thẳng vô trong kia, đi thẳng, thẳng, thẳng vô. Nãy người ta đi làm sao mình đi vậy? Thấy chưa?
George at Union Station.
Rồi thẳng vô. Rồi, cuốn, quay lại. Mấy anh em mình chụp tấm, quay lại. Ok, đứng vậy đó, đúng rồi. Em set up.
Houston Elks Lodge, number 151.
Ok anh chị, em chụp tấm hình cho anh chị nha. Ok, đây.
Boy Scout Troop number 1659.
Cuốn lại đi, mình lại tham dự.
United States Volunteer Joint Service Commander, Major Bank, USAVR.
Thấy không? Nhìn người ta đi trước là mình đi theo giống vậy. Mỗi năm thì họ dầm lại. Thấy không?
Vet Center Group number 731.
Get the stand, Emery.
Texas Rifle Company 8, 13th U.S. Infantry Combined Company, and Sons of Union Vets of Civil War.
Quét.
Texas State Guard, 2nd Brigade. BMW District 4 and auxiliaries.
Quay xuống.
Sons and daughter of Pearl Harbor survivors, Blue Bonnet, chapter number 3.
It's too hot.
Sons and daughters of Pearl Harbor survivors. I know. ¿Qué dice ahí? Lost? We forgot.
We forget.
Okay.
Pearl Harbor, so Blue Bonnet, and then the chapter is, yes, that's what Sons and Daughters.
Downtown Rotary Club of Houston.
No.
Con đấy. Cái nó xấu á.
Drink your spit. I had a teacher that used to tell me. Someone just looking out there with freaking door. So they're like, once we get out, we're coming back.
Okay, a Combat Veteran Motorcycle Association, 23-4. Masons of Masonic District, number 30, AF 810.
Năm nay ít ha, mỗi năm là đông lắm á, đến 30 mấy rồi.
For our community or something like that. I spy with my little eyes down there. Oh my God.
Eddie Laredo, Staff Sergeant.
That's what I'm saying.
CIA.
Anh Phúc, si có 2 người ta dẫn đi chưa? Nó một group. Yeah, 1 người đi cũng vẫn được anh. Mình 4 người là hình năm nay mình ok rồi. Hãy có chụp tụi em. Không. Cái tấm hình này phải nhớ gửi cho tụi em đó nha. Đó, có mấy người thấy không? Đi. Mà nếu có thì mình cầm thêm tờ đi vậy thì mình cầm thêm. Stop it. I didn't even see him. He use it all the time.
Usually for veterans, post 574.
What happens when you quit? Oh yeah.
Cái này không có chuẩn bị gì hết nè. Cầm cờ là phải có cái dây đeo.
Houston National Cemetery.
Thank you, Madam President. So let's keep your hands up for all these groups and all the time we've been practicing for this event. Now I'm going to turn the mic over to one of Houston's most noted former Marines, although I realize there are no former, they just stay that way. Mr. Carmen Gonzalez for our field deputy tonight.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and distinguished guests. Veterans and those who are currently serving are mindful of that sweetness of enduring peace that is always tainted by the bitterness of personal sacrifice. We are compelled to never forget that while we enjoy our daily pleasures, there are others who have endured or may still be enduring the agonies of pain and imprisonment. I call to your attention to the table in front of you, which occupies a place of dignity and honor. The table is set for 5 branches of the U.S. military: Army, Marines, Navy, Air Force, and Coast Guard, symbolizing the members of our armed forces that are prisoners of war or missing in action. They are referred to as POWs or MIAs. We can call them comrades. They are unable to be with us or their loved ones. We pay humble tribute and bear witness to their continued absence and remember them this day. The tablecloth is white, symbolic of the purity of their intentions to respond to their country's call to arms. Remember. The single red rose in the vase signifies the blood they may have shed in sacrifice to ensure the freedom of our beloved United States of America. The rose also reminds us of the families and friends who keep the faith while waiting their return. Remember. The yellow ribbon on the vase represents the yellow ribbon worn by thousands of Americans who demand with unyielding determination a proper accounting of our comrades who are not here with us today. Remember. The sliced lemon reminds us of the bitter fate. Remember. The salt sprinkled on the small plate reminds us of the countless fallen tears of families as they wait. Remember. The glasses are inverted. They cannot toast with us at this time. Remember. The chairs are empty, but they are the spirit and mind. Remember. The candle is reminiscent of the light of hope, which lives in our hearts to illuminate their way home, away from their captors. To open the arms of a grateful nation. Remember. The American flag reminds us of the many of them that never returned and have paid the supreme sacrifice to ensure our freedom. Remember. Let us remember and never forget their sacrifice. May God watch over them and protect them and their families. Thank you.
At this time, we have the honor of listening to the St. Thomas Episcopal School Youth at Thailand.
Đưa cái điện thoại cho em, nó không là đi xa quá, nó không có connect cái điện thoại của em. Anh lấy giùm, dạ anh lấy giùm em lên đi. Nó disconnect như vậy.
give them another big hand. Today we have the honor of having an American patriot from Mount Pleasant, Texas, who, like many others, motivated by the 9/11 attack on our country, still joined the U.S. Army and was trained as an explosive ordnance disposal specialist. If you look into your program, you'll see it's quite a history of what he was able to do. Unfortunately, there was an IED out there on the side of the road with his name on it. And then after being honorably and medically retired, Stone has dedicated his life to training and mentoring current service members and veterans navigating their own mental health journey with the radio show. With his wife, Candy, and son Alex by his side, we were able to keep him here in Texas as they moved to a specially adapted home in Beaumont, which was provided by the Texas Central Foundation. Staff sergeant retired black and bachelor's degrees in criminal justice and business management from Grant University. He is also a volunteer with the Special Olympics program. A true lifter and not a leader. This is so black.
You know, you would think they'd make a podium for somebody that's 6'5". Everybody hear me good? All right, so good morning, everyone. When I was asked to be the speaker of this service today, I was honored. I was humbled. And a little nervous because I recognized the monumentous task at hand. How can I say anything better than what's already been said thousands of times about this day and the heroes who made it? You know, my mind immediately shifted to wondering, when I finished my speech, if these heroes would be proud of what I said here today. If the families of the fallen who hear this message, if they would be proud of the way that I framed my speech, honoring their loved ones this morning. And like most things in life, time will only answer those questions. So before I get started, I'd like to welcome Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, Mayor, the PBA, and so many of you wonderful warriors out there who signed that dotted line. You know, it's a little overwhelming to look out amongst the crowd and see so many faces of all ages. So many faces of different races, different theological beliefs, political beliefs, socioeconomic backgrounds and circumstances. Some of you are veterans who served your country. Some of you here are still serving today, and maybe you're here to have a beer, or have a cigar, or a prayer, or a conversation with a brother or sister who gave their lives for something bigger than themselves. Some of you are here to pay your respect to someone who's interred in this hallowed ground, perhaps a friend, maybe a family member, while the rest of you are simply here to pay your respects to all that have fallen and given their ultimate sacrifice to this great nation. Whatever the reason, thank you for being here this Memorial Day. Ronald Reagan once said that freedom is never more than one generation from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same. The freedoms that we enjoy as a nation, some of which I believe we take for granted at times, they were not bought by our social elite, nor were they given to us by the policymakers in D.C. They were fought for with blood, sweat, tears, and the agony of our nation's heroes. They perished so that we may have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, the freedom that we have today. You know, I always felt like the concept of freedom, it was something way too big. It was way too large, it was too abstract for old country boy from Northeast Texas to have an impact. Because freedom means something different to each of us, doesn't it? It means different things to different people at different times in their lives.
แล้ว
Freedom is a fundamental element of liberty. It's a concept. It's a value.
Bây giờ thì đưa 25 sen ra cho.
Freedom is something that most people believe is worth fighting
một
for.
sen này.
And if necessary, to give their lives to preserve this nation, their children's future, and this nation's very existence. The United States of America is a symbol of freedom.
Có luôn.
All around the world.
25 sen mới được coi.
Freedom of speech. Freedom of religion. Freedom of the right to peaceably assemble. The freedom to petition the government for redress of grievances. And the freedom of press. That's just the First Amendment of the Constitution. I believe these men and women who gave their lives in the service of their country, they did so for something a lot simpler. But it's more important, I think. It's more important than the protection of something called freedom. I believe they gave their lives for something more deliberate. For the love of the man and the woman to their left and their right. This was a much easier idea for me. Perhaps for those of you who serve, and I dare to try to speak to you of the late events here. The love. Love is what these men and women gave their lives for. Love for their families, love for their country, love for their fellow warriors, and love for their friends. Book of John chapter 15:13 tells us that greater love is no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. Everyone who joins the military, they understand and they accept the possibility they can go to war to protect this great nation. The heroes that we're honoring today, they chose to fight. They chose to accept the risk that they may die for the love of their country, their family, their friends, and their fellow warriors. The men and women who are laid to rest here in cemeteries across the nation, who are being honored today because they made the ultimate sacrifice in service to each other. The preservation of this great nation, I think they represent the best of us. Like you who are in attendance, they represented different races, theological beliefs, political beliefs. They come from different socioeconomic backgrounds and circumstances. But regardless of their differences, they still come together as one. They unified despite their differences to accomplish the mission. They stood as one. They stood as one despite their differences in the preservation of this country. They are representative of this great nation, perhaps the best representation of us. That is why we honor them today. Instead of all the political infighting and grandstanding for the sake of differences, perhaps it's time to follow their example and unify for the betterment of this great nation. Perhaps it's time to come together as American citizens and embrace what we have in common instead of searching for differences. But sadly, there's so many people in this great nation, they don't understand the true meaning of Memorial Day because it's confused with Veterans Day. And as many of you know, Veterans Day is a day where we recognize those who are wearing the uniform or have worn the uniform and have served this great nation. But Memorial Day represents something much more solemn. I don't know if you thought about it, but Memorial Day, it is the most expensive day in the calendar. Every hot dog, every hamburger, every spin around the lake, or drink with your friends and family, it's a debt that has been purchased by others. Some of you that you know, but most of them that you don't. And you don't have to know their names to appreciate what these warriors did. Memorial Day is more than barbecues, family get-togethers, and road trips, and long weekends, or even commercialized sales. But I encourage you all to take advantage of the aforementioned because the debt has been covered. The bill has been paid in the blood of this nation's heroes. Memorial Day is a day in which we honor those who gave the last full measure. These heroes have given their all for something bigger than themselves. And today we honor their sacrifice. The heroes who turned this hollow ground were sons, daughters, mothers, brothers, sisters. Some of them gave their lives so they could realize their dream. The dream of starting their own families. The dreams of owning their own business. The dream of becoming a grandparent. The dream of seeing this nation become a better nation today than it was yesterday. Memorial Day is to honor those who paid in life and blood, whose mothers never saw them again, whose fathers wept in private, whose wives raised their kids alone, whose kids only remember them through pictures. This is a day to remember that others paid for every breath, every free breath that you will take from this day forward. I introduced this notion not to bring additional glory to the fallen or create some type of sympathy for the deceased. It's not necessary. I believe the men and women resting here would probably protest that notion. I believe that they would want more than anything is to know that they did not die in vain. They gave their last breath to ensure that you and I, we had the freedom to move our lives when we will. And that we will make the most of every opportunity that's presented in front of us, that we earn their sacrifice. Today we pay homage to those who gave in their all, and it's up to us to embrace and protect what they died for. The bumper stickers aren't true. Freedom isn't free. It's costly, it's valuable, and it should be treasured and kept safe. We honor our freedom when we enjoy it, when we celebrate it, when we share it with however we see fit. So make the most of it and take a moment to give thanks. Memorial Day is honored and remembered differently for each and every one of us. For me, Memorial Day is just another day that I remember carrying in my heart the names of warriors like Sergeant Elijah Vong and Kimberly Bowles, Staff Sergeant Jonathan Smith, Staff Sergeant Mark Wells, Staff Sergeant Eric Trueblood, Staff Sergeant Chauncey May, Specialist Chris Stark, Staff Sergeant Brian Stutter, Staff Sergeant Johnny Mason, Corporal Corey Hewitt, Staff Sergeant Joseph Robinson Jr., Specialist Christopher Taylor, Sergeant Irvin Hernandez Jr., and Sergeant Brian Lucky. These were my family, my sister, and my brothers. And I'm certain many of you will remember and carry in your heart like I do the names that we honor this day. And you don't have to have a name in mind. And if you don't have one, this is the perfect place to go find one. Take that name home. Honor it. Remember them today for the National Moment of Remembrance at 3 p.m. this afternoon. Thank you again all for being here to honor this nation's heroes. And thank you all to my brothers and sisters who are with us in spirit today for paving the way and setting an example of the power of love for an old country boy like me. I'd like to wrap up my remarks today the same way that I wrap up every radio show. Thank you for your service and your patriotism in this great nation. Without our men and women in uniform, our veteran community and great Americans like each of you, this country would be a very different place. We are the only ones who stand between freedom and chaos. This may sound familiar to some of you, but don't ever let your dog tags dangle in the dirt. Stay on your feet and continue to fight that good fight against everything that's wrong. If you love your freedom, think of veterans and the heroes that we honor today. God bless each and every one of you. God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're bringing up the mayor of Houston in just a moment. Houston is Houston's 62nd mayor. He's got the fourth largest city in America with the second largest veteran population. Prior to serving as Houston's mayor, he served for 27 years in the Texas House as Representative 139, where he worked on the House Appropriations Committee for 21 years, serving as pro tem for 3 terms. He graduated magna cum laude from the University of Houston and obtained his AD degree from Harvard Law. Passionate about his city, he continues to live in Acres Home, community where he grew up in a military family. The Honorable Mayor, Mr. Trent.
Thank you so very, very much. Let me start off by thanking Buddy Grantham for the MC. Please give it up to Buddy Grantham. Let me make a few acknowledgments and then a few remarks. I certainly want to acknowledge Congresswoman Sheila Jackson of the 18th Congressional District for being here again. Certainly the representative of Senator Ted Cruz, Jason Fuller, and the representative of Congressman Crenshaw, John McCarthy. Appreciate them being present. And then from the House, from the Houston City Council, Councilmember Edward Pollard, thank you so very much for being present. I can't say enough for the St. Thomas Episcopal School. They did an outstanding job. Give it up to those kids one more time. And Luna, the chaplain, let me thank you. Good to be with you again. And of course, I have to acknowledge Mr. Josh Flynn for singing God Bless the USA. And then I want to acknowledge that good old country boy from Beaumont, Philip Blackman, for doing an outstanding job this morning. Give it up to this country boy, Philip Blackman. And I want you to know that you made our heroes very, very proud. And thank you for reminding us that Memorial Day is more than about barbecue or going down to Galveston. So thank you so very much. It's an honor to be with you at the Houston National Cemetery on this Memorial Day to honor all military members who have died while serving in the United States Armed Forces. To all the family members who are here, please know that the city of Houston shares your values and will forever honor your heroes. I want to recognize, of course, the Gold and Blue Star moms. Please give it up to all of them who are here this morning. And all others today whose loved ones died while serving our country. We are gathered in this most beautiful and sacred place to pay our respects to the men and women who died in service to our country. Today's ceremony is in keeping with the tradition that began long ago after the end of the Civil War. Here in Houston and in large and small cities across our nation, in the small towns of Texas, and every other state, we remember the sacrifices of those who defended our freedom. And as Phil indicated earlier, freedom is not free. We honor those who gave life and limb for our country, who fought for their comrades in arms, and who fought for all of us. We remember and we say to them and to their families, thank you. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for your patriotism and love of country. And thank you for loving and believing in the ideals of this country so much that you were willing to give your life to ensure the freedom of others. To many Americans, Memorial Day marks the unofficial beginning of summer. But it is so much more than that. And Philip, I want to thank you for reminding us again that before we spend the time to go out and celebrate to the beach, to the backyards and barbecue, to remember those who paid the ultimate sacrifice. Let us all call to mind the images of young men and women shipping out to strange, unknown lands to put themselves in harm's way for us. Let us remember, let us be forever grateful. And in the year that has passed, many more of our heroes have been buried in this pristine cemetery. We have buried young and old here from different eras and all different branches of the military. We have buried men and women who led full lives and others who have gone far too soon, killed in the prime of their lives. The heroes buried here in this cemetery and in every veteran cemetery in the nation did their part. It is the duty of our government to now do our part, too, to serve those who are still living. And that is why the city of Houston is committed to serving our living veterans and their families through the work of several city departments, including our police, our fire, and our municipal employees. Every day, we work with our community to serve those who served us, supporting our heroes with ongoing initiatives in housing, employment, and mental health. Even as we honor those who are no longer with us, we commit ourselves to serve those who are still here. And finally, thank you all for being here to remember the service and sacrifices of those who have gone before us, those who have given so much of themselves for our benefit. And a special thanks to the Houston National Cemetery for hosting the ceremony and to the VA providing for the care and comfort of our veterans each day. What I would ask is that next year, when we come to this particular event, Memorial Day, that we do even more to show our appreciation. Houston, I would encourage us to show up next year in bigger numbers. All of our elected officials, those who came, it is important for them to be here, for us to remember that our presence in this city is in large part due to those who paid the ultimate sacrifice. And while we yet live, let us bear in mind that God has watched over us all and truly has blessed each and every one of us. And so therefore I have the privilege to say, and therefore I, Sylvester Turner, Mayor of the City of Houston, hereby proudly proclaim May the 30th, 2022 as Memorial Day National Cemetery Council of Greater Houston Day in the City of Houston. May God bless all of our veterans, all of the family members, and may God bless the United States of America.
That's a tough act to follow, but I'm sure we can. Next we have the Honorable Sheila Jackson Lee of the U.S. House of Representatives, serving the 18th District, 14th term, January 1995. She sits on 3 congressional committees, the Judiciary, Homeland Security, and the crucial Budget Committee. A passionate supporter for our military veterans. She is a BA in political science from Yale, followed by a JD from the University of Virginia Law School. And I guess along with those 14 terms, it's okay to mention that she is also the proud grandmother of 2 grandkids who are twins. She is excellent.
Thank you, buddy. We have been enormous friends for a very, very long time. And so I am delighted to be here today to welcome you back after we have gone over the mountains and valleys of the pandemic. Would you give yourselves a hand and say, we are back, never to leave ever again. We are back. Honored to be able to be here with representatives of Congressman Crenshaw and Senator Cruz, certainly the leader of our city, who's done an outstanding job. Let me honor the Gold Star mothers and families. Would you raise your hands so that we can see you, or even stand? Gold Star, let us see you and thank you, honor you today. Blue Star families as well, let us see you and honor you today as well. Let me thank you, as I said, to Buddy Grantham for his service, continuous service, to all of the platform guests and council members that are gathered here today. As I listen to Sergeant Blackman, who weaved his way into the seams of American patriotism, not by words, but by deeds.
moving immediately after 9/11 and saying, "Send me." But not stopping there, going into the Secret Service and then going back. I contemplated the concept of patriotism and the recognition of those who have fallen, have taken it to their heart in death. They fought in battle unselfishly. They laid their life down. And Memorial Day, coming after the most devastating war of brother against brother in the Civil War in 1868, not becoming a federal holiday. I don't know why it took so long until 1971. But it was the seeing of brothers fall, the bloody battle that showed us that when someone has something in their hearts, the passion of patriotism is not words, it is deeds. I begin to think of the Declaration of Independence that was also fought with blood and lives lost, men falling in battle, recognizing that cemeteries did not always capture those who had lost their lives. And then I moved as we thought of the Declaration of Independence, that we all are created equal with certain inalienable rights of life and liberty in the pursuit of happiness, that it gives every American. And I can tell you, visiting soldiers overseas, there is no greater pride than to see the uniforms. As I traveled to the Ukraine border, to see the pride of the 82nd Airborne standing guard in Europe, prepared to do what their nation asked them to do. Their willingness to go into battle if called. And then to see in my life as a member of the United States Congress, the many of our fallen buried in cemeteries overseas. Seeing the row after row of little white crosses in Normandy, kneeling to look for those from Houston, from Texas, those who did not come home to American soil but were buried where they were willing to give their life because they believed in the Declaration of Independence. But I can assure you, as we speak to the living, wearing the uniform, what gives them the drive is, as our speaker said, the love of their loved ones. The understanding that there is no greater love than to lay down your life for someone else. But I would like to think that it is the greatness of this nation, the foundation, the underpinnings of who we are. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves, our posterity, to ordain and establish the Constitution of the United States of America. You talk to those soldiers that are living, they embed that in their soul and DNA. And I know that those in battle have taken that to their grave. And so today, as we come back after 2 years, we should feel in our souls and our DNA the patriotism, not of words, but of deeds. And we should humble ourselves to the ground to recognize the soil here and those who are buried in cemeteries across America and those who were left overseas. It is a special moment. And as a public official, our commitment to the living is to ensure that no veteran is ever turned away from Veterans Affairs and or the VA hospital, and that your care is of excellence, not our words, but our deeds. And to make sure those families, those Gold Star families, are likewise loved as the Blue Star families and as the children of those who have fallen, that they are never left alone. It is my privilege as a member of the United States Congress to ensure that those who suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder are completely cared for. Thank you, Philip Blackman, for raising that issue every day. And so I close my remarks by again dwelling on what patriotism means. It is your presence here today. It is your accepting of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. It is recognizing that this democracy, as those who are fighting in Ukraine, does not survive unless there are those who unselfishly run into battle and die in their boots. That is why we are here. That is what I will feel as I go to the Heights World War II Memorial and honor them just a few minutes from now. And then it will be the words of our speaker. Don't want to embarrass him, but his message, Phil Blackman, gave me chills. You are more than your circumstances. Today doesn't have to be your yesterday, and since tomorrow isn't guaranteed, let's choose living over surviving. As we live, let us survive for those who have fallen. And let us commit that no soldier living, no family living, no Gold Star family, Blue Star family ever in America should suffer. My final words to you is that I just came back from Uvalde. Those children are not soldiers, nor were those in Buffalo. But I can't imagine that the soldiers who put on the uniform, members of the United States military, all branches, did not have the sense of greatness of what America was and is. That's why they laid down their life, because they loved America. We owe them a duty that these kinds of mass murders cease and desist against our fellow Americans. And so I hope that we will embrace not only this day, but a day that says we love America. God bless all of you, and God bless the United States of America. I saw as I came in this strapping, tall oak tree out of East Texas. He might tell me there's another tree that he represents. But when we heard his words, it made me more embedded in the concept of patriot. But what is most important is the humbleness of Phil Blackman, which is evident by a man who has worn the uniform, both in battle, but as a civilian Secret Service officer, no less willing to put his life down. So it is my privilege to be able to present to him his own congressional recognition on this day that we honor the fallen, and to recount his history, and to be able to acknowledge that he did volunteer, and he loved his country enough to lay down his life. He's an injured combat veteran, and he is a person that still continues to serve the nation as a patriot. I want to say to you, Mr. Blackman, Sergeant Blackman, this tribute to you will be placed in the records of the United States Congressional Record for all those to receive your message and your life. Would you shake that? And as well, and I'd ask my buddy and the mayor to join us, and council member others on the podium, as well as my two members to join us as well. You have a flag that has been flown over the United States Capitol in your honor. Would you give him another big thank you? Josh, I feel like singing God Bless the USA. Thank you. Sing another one.
Thank you, Mel, for bestowing that honor on Philip. That's very touching. I'm not quite done. I'm really glad. Thank you so much. We now have the honor of having John McCarthy come up for a presentation representing Navy SEAL and U.S. Congressman Dan Crenshaw.
Hello everyone, my name is John McCarthy and I'm with Congressman Dan Crenshaw's office. Unfortunately, the Congressman couldn't be here today, but he wanted me to present this proclamation on his behalf. Before I begin, I just want to say thank you to all the Gold Star families out there, and for all of our elected officials and other dignitaries here, and for everyone here that showed up and to pay their respects and remember all of our fallen patriots who gave their life for this great country. So, Congressional Proclamation in honor of Houston National Cemetery's Memorial Day ceremony. Whereas Memorial Day, originally known as Decoration Day, originated in the years following Civil War and became an official holiday in 1971. Memorial Day is a day to remember the sacrifices and service of all of our military men and women. And whereas we gather here today at Houston National Cemetery, one of the largest of its kind at the time of construction, to take the time to honor all of the brave men and women buried here and at all those laid to rest across the country. And whereas our hearts go out to you, the families of all of our veterans who lost their loved ones defending this great nation and its values, there is no way we could ever repay you for everything that you have sacrificed for our safety and our security. And now, therefore, I, Dan Crenshaw, Member of Congress representing the 2nd Congressional District of Texas, do hereby declare May 30th, 2022 as a day to recognize all of our fallen military men and women who paid the ultimate price to protect this great nation. Thank you, and God bless the United States of America.
You know, I'm very honored that Jason Fuller is here. He does a fantastic job going out in the community for the Honorable Senator Ted Cruz. But I have to tell you, I was wishing he was here. You probably could see this, you know. Senator Cruz is a child of 2 distinguished mathematicians. So I wrote him a trigonometry problem I wanted him to solve while he was up here making his speech. We'll have to get him another time. So this time, Jason, would you please come forward?
Thank you, Colonel. It's great to be with so many patriots today. Philip Blackman and friends, Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, my Congresswoman, and of course my Mayor, Sylvester Turner. As was mentioned, Senator Cruz had planned and hoped to be here today, but I have a letter from the Senator. Dear friends, it is an honor to join millions of Americans in this time of reflection as we consider the heavy price paid for the freedoms Americans have known for the last 245 years. American families have lost thousands of sons and daughters, husbands and wives, fathers and mothers because of their love of family, devotion to our nation's security, and belief in the principles of our Constitution. It is their tremendous courage and sacrifice we honor as we consider that all that was given for us to live in peace and security in this great land. As we spend this Memorial Day weekend honoring our fallen service members, we pray for the comfort of the families who grieve their loss. May we always remember their sacrifice and keep our promise to the fallen that we will support and care for their loved ones. I want to thank everyone responsible for organizing today's program. Your faithfulness in helping us remember those lost in the service of liberty ensures their resolute courage remains the heart of our communities. May God bless the people of Texas, and may God continue to bless America. Sincerely, Ted Cruz. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jason. You know, I was in a really intense tank battle during Desert Storm against an Iraqi Republican Guard unit. And some of my brothers are over here that fought beside me. I met earlier today. I was in the 1st Brigade. One was in 2nd, one was in 3rd. And, you know, it was very touching. But the point was, as we're in this heavy battle, 810 from the United States Air Force came streaming over to help give their punch, to help us win that engagement. And I feel very lucky today as the Army guy. I hope you do feel. All the Air Force people on this dais, would y'all please stand up? We've got the director, the chaplain, director of the benefits office. Anybody else? Yeah. I just feel very comforted. Thank you so much. And now we will welcome back Chaplain Luna to provide us our benediction.
Will you please bow your heads once again? May the strength of God sustain us. May the power of God preserve us. May the hands of God protect us. May the way of God direct us. And may the love of God go with us this day and forever. Amen.
I do not want to leave today as we start our final remarks, start to close, without thanking the hard work of the Cemetery Council for the way they planned and they orchestrated this ceremony. Just fantastic. Let's give them a great big hand. And for you folks and the rest, I tell you, this Houston National Cemetery Council does a fabulous job throughout the year. We're very appreciative. So it's pretty warm. Luckily, we got a little cloud cover, but it is getting hotter. So I'm going to be brief, but I am going to share a couple of parts. You know, our men and women in our military are still out there risking their lives, not only in foreign countries that we easily see in our mind, but also in hazardous daily training at their home unit stations in order for preparation. You know, we always say better than sweat a gallon to clean a mountains. I'm so proud. My father was a World War II vet in the Navy. My son is serving now in the Army. And we all fight for the freedom that this country has to maintain it and the relative peace that we can help our allies to afford. We go into conflict, but we never go as a nation to go subjugate people or a population or a country. We go to demonstrate freedom, and we try to pass that on. So here today, this hallowed ground is the final resting place for such heroes as this. Those that are willing to give up their lives and called upon to do so that others could be free. They can no longer answer here when the roll call and formation is announced. But you are here to stay here for them. And I thank you so much for being here today. Next will be a rifle squad, followed by, the rifle squad was Texas Rifle Company A from the 13th U.S. Infantry, followed by cats led by Benjamin Brooks, and that will end the ceremony. And then I wish you all safe travels upon your departure, and I welcome you back here again next year and bring it free.
Có. Thank you.
Vong.
Again, thank you all for coming. Thank you for our distinguished guests. Thank you for the Cemetery Council for putting this on, and thank you for attending.
Xong rồi đó. Xong lễ rồi. Yeah. Tới đây đã xong rồi nha anh chị. Ok. Buổi lễ Memorial Day cũng như để cầu nguyện những chiến sĩ đã hy sinh vì cho em quay từ gần sáng rồi thì mới có
Qua thì đi một cái tiệc.
Rồi bye bye. Thank you.
Can take a picture with us? Yeah. Let's go.
Oh, thanks. My mom made it.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Looks great.
Thank you. Yeah, em chuẩn bị.